Hey,
Hello.
how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Did you ever manage to figure out that thing at 26?
What thing?
At 26 minutes in?
Oh, I have not looked yet, but I will.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was just very weird because, like, you say drowned out, and at the same time, it sounds like there is a faint Discord notification in the background.
Possible.
Also, I got my ears pierced today.
Hooray!
Yes, it's awesome.
Me, or was Discord being a bitch?
We couldn't hear you before if you said anything.
Right, okay, Discord was being a bitch. Good to know.
Does that surprise anyone?
No. Discord's like, yeah, everything works fine all the fucking time. Bitch, no it doesn't.
Those four, like, westward aren't connected.
Mm.
Shit, stream. It's been a long day. The pizza party thing was a work event and the pizza didn't arrive until like 6 or 7. I don't know. Yeah. So like it wasn't a like official work event. It was one of the things where it's like
Yeah, I'm fine.
Are you
dying.
okay?
No, yeah, I know that sounded terrible, but I'm fine. That was just a weird bit of phlegm. Like I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, the pizza didn't arrive until late, and then I didn't leave the work site until like 8ish. And like I foolishly decided to see if I could go 12 hours without caffeine. I made it until 8:30, and then I got home and I still had a blinding headache, and I went fuck it. I had a mouthful of coffee, and it fixed half my headache. So, you know, I'm totally capable of quitting coffee anytime. Totally. I'm also half asleep. It did plants go.
Plants were good. I started it late, but it was still good.
I dropped by for a bit. Let's figure it out. Strongly dislike what the KP server has done, the K5 server has done for my to-read list. Because it is much longer now and I'm not making a dent in it.
That's how it happens. There's a reason I use a browser that like closes all my tabs if I close my phone or the browser or whatever. It's so I have to start my list all over again. So I can't just like stay on top of it.
I want these though, like.
Oh, so do I. Don't
Yeah, there's the Kikos.
Yeah.
Oh, hello,
Yeah, I gave in a drank coffee to keep
timing horrible. What?
I gave in and drank coffee. I say I gave in. I was planning to do it anyway. Because since then, if I say I gave in.
Is the headache better?
Yes.
Probably worth it then. I'll probably kick Jasmine, by the way. I think she's been in the recording thread since, well, you recorded.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah, you have horrible timing as always.
Yay!
Usually that's not a compliment.
Yay!
It's Sam. Everything's
it's
a compliment because his mind's so twisted.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's sort of a compliment. It's currently distracting me from drama and having to moderate on a different server. So
one that I know about.
Sorry?
One that I know about.
You know about the server, but it's really a minor thing, and it's not
Yeah.
really anything that you need to worry about.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, it took me 6 attempts to kick her out of the Discord on mobile. It's still broken. Fun. I mean, I say drama. It's really more just someone sent the DM to address an issue, and I brought up the issue with the mod team, and we're discussing it. It's not really drama, but like.
That was dumb. Here we go. This is an interesting one. It is Eurasia.
Except not, because this doesn't quite look it.
Very, very similar to it, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, the UK is attached, and the peninsula, the
It's pronounced Uck.
whatever.
Talking about,
Scandinavia is attached at both ends instead of just one.
are you talking about the beautiful
Yeah.
United?
I love the way that my existence has caused a debate on a server. That was fun.
I'm sorry.
It's hilarious. Her music. Those have had a long day at work, so like I might be finding it funnier than it actually was, but whatever.
I've come to ask a hard-hitting question.
Yes.
Oh dear.
Should I make myself food or order in?
Can you
Can
afford to
you
order in?
afford?
Yeah.
Treat yourself. If you are asking the question, it probably means that you need to treat yourself.
Yeah, go order food.
Yeah, but I was going to treat myself, but this is the other thing is I was like, after I finished chapter 2, I originally bought an ice cream to eat after I finished chapter 3, but then I was like, oh, maybe I should leave it until I finish chapter 4 as well. But I am not doing great mentally.
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
Yes, but then should I still order in or
Yes.
should I?
Yes.
Yes. You're in. Really not that hard a concept.
Now I don't want to eat food though.
Well, too bad. That's the part you don't have a choice in.
You gotta eat. You can't not.
Yeah, you can't avoid eating that.
Yeah.
My middle school self would say otherwise.
Just because you can go without food for a decent length of time doesn't mean you should. Like, I have not had proper food for entire weekends before, and that shit ain't healthy.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I'm kind of craving chicken nuggets. And
Get you some chicken nuggets.
I was gonna
I'm craving chicken
have
nuggets.
them. I was gonna make them because I have them. Also,
Or you could just order in.
Yeah.
You can get them.
no, because it'll take the same amount of time for it to happen. And frankly, I don't want to open the door. Also,
Truck trainer.
one thing that happened today, actually no, I'm not gonna say it because you're recording, but you know those times when you have like therapy appointment and then your therapist says something, or like you go over something in really deep detail and you're like, damn, I'm sad now.
Yeah.
Is this your terrible therapist that sucks and we hate?
No, this is a new therapist.
Yay!
No, Sam, see, the reason I feel sad is not because she made me feel sad. I'm just concerned because she said, hey, I'm concerned about this thing with you, but, you know, it's not immediate, but for your future, you definitely should try to look for this thing specifically.
Okay.
And so that's made me panic, because now I think, oh my gosh, I'm going to think about it now. But basically, we also said, hey, we need to focus on staying in the present. And I'm so bad at that, and I totally fucking forgot to ask her how to do that. I don't know how to stay in the present.
I'm not even sure what she means.
I'm guessing it means stop focusing on shit that could happen, or stop focusing on shit that has happened. Focus on what
I
is
like how she
happening.
said focus on the present. Also, here's something you need to worry about for the future.
She said,
Hopefully it was more like, here's something to be aware of.
yeah. She was more so like, hey, I'm concerned about this. It might help to look into this in the future, but she's like, right now, your top priority is just getting your dissertation done, you know? And she says, don't think about the past, don't think about the future, just focus on the present. And I have never been able to do that in my life. Hence, me in my kitchen
Yeah.
that I don't know how to cook food, even though I do. What am I doing? Cooking things.
No, what you're doing is ordering in.
No, I
You
don't
just
want
need to
to
decide what. Yes, you are. If you aren't, we will. So go and
Yeah.
order in.
You don't know where I live.
We will find out.
Yeah. Sakiko will too. Sakiko's with the KGB. They got ways and means.
But that's not. That's not even okay. Hello, Francis.
Hello, Francis.
Hello.
What's up?
Hello.
I apparently am going to be gunned down for not ordering in food.
Treat
Yes.
yourself.
I don't want to because if I order in food, then I'll end up ordering in stuff that hurts my stomach, which means that I can't have the ice cream later.
Just get
because
fucking
it's
nuggets
there.
or something.
I am making chicken nuggets right now. I am making my gluten-free chicken nuggets. Do you know how hard it is to find gluten-free chicken nuggets?
Very hard. Elisa, you don't need to order in if you don't really.
No, Francis, no! You traitor! You
What do
fucking
you mean?
you.
If Alicia feels that it is against their best interests to order out, then that's fine.
That's so gross of you to say. That's so
So,
disgusting.
what is me to
That's
say?
just disgusting. You're disgusting.
Disgusting to
you-
listen to
you-
friends like, oh,
You
because
you disgust me.
feeding someone else's good.
They think that I should treat myself because you know therapy was just hard to pill to swallow. And
No, we
I
didn't
was
even
like,
need reasons. We didn't even need reasons. You just said you're having a bad mental health day, and we're like, treat yourself.
I'm always having a bad mental. Newsflash, Sam. I'm always having a bad mental health day.
Mood.
I mean, I'm broke right now.
Yeah.
I paid off my student loans though.
You
so that's-
fucking did as well. Just in time for Biden to cancel him. It looks like.
Wait, did you like fully pay them off?
Yeah, I paid them off like Tuesday.
Yay! No more
I
student
think they
loans.
made a post.
Well,
I think they made a post about it in the treehouse.
Yeah,
I might be remembering, but I
I did,
think.
but you know.
Yeah, no, it got buried super fast. I was just saying that Alicia could probably look it up if she was interested when exactly.
Oh, although there are other things that still need to pay off. The federal debt is gone. So that's or rather the payment is processing, and I hope that it just doesn't, we'll see what happens to it. I mean, this is just...
Oh yeah, Francis. There's the new song for Milligram came out.
Oh, that's nice. I'll take a listen to that sometime.
I haven't listened to it yet, so.
Sorry, when was this supposed to happen?
Huh?
When was this supposed to happen?
What's supposed to happen?
Cancellation release.
Huh?
The cancellation.
Forgiveness. When was that going to
He's supposed to announce it today. Or, like, within the week. Like, in a way that might actually happen and not just him, like, saying it's gonna happen.
It's nice that some of it is getting eliminated, but
Yeah.
a lot of people don't have just $10,000.
I'll tell you what, yeah.
I was very
I
lucky.
mean, honestly, the whole concept of student debt is such a fucking shit show. Like,
This is only for federal student debt. This doesn't cover private debt.
Yeah.
yeah, I know. I meant the entire, the entire thing, everything.
There you go. We know we already know the U.S. is a hellhole. We genuinely already know that.
We already know, Sakiko, that everyone else in the world doesn't have these issues and doesn't gatekeep education. We get it.
We do.
I wouldn't.
It's-
Does it really help with the fact that I was told to focus on the present?
I mean, in the present, we're waiting on an announcement for forgiveness of debt, so I think it's a good idea to focus on the present.
I'm going to say this. It's going to maybe sound ungrateful, but I'm saying it from a realistic standpoint too. It's only $10,000 for people who make $125,000 or less a year.
Yeah.
They're fucking
I mean, I
means
get-
testing debt forgiveness. Jesus Christ.
I mean, I get that, but I'm
Means
hoping,
testing
and
just
I know
fucking
this
awesome.
is not the most realistic of hopes, but I'm hoping that it's a starting point, and that people will just realize, oh my god, the world hasn't ended despite this, maybe we can just actually forgive student debt and do away with it, Obviously not in the next, 2 or 3 years, but I'm hoping that is something that can eventually happen.
What I fear is going to happen instead is that Biden's going to get this through, and the Republicans are going to be like, fuck the fucking budget, and just either make it worse or just cancel it midway, which is what they always do, every election cycle. If Biden can't get reelected, which he probably won't be able to, so yeah, I find it to be not, like, had he gone the full, if he had just eaten the whole enchilada and just said, you know what, we're canceling all of it, everything is gone, it's like, okay, that's a lot harder to walk back. But walking back $10,000, which is about hundreds of billions of dollars, is not that hard to walk back on. It's hard to go, actually, never mind.
Yeah.
You started with the compromise and didn't fucking...
I like to have faith in potatoes.
Also, is Nepal gone?
Is the what gone?
Nepal. What happened to Nepal?
Yes. Yes.
I don't know what
It
place
exists
that
in-
is.
Above...
It'll be above India.
Yeah. Top
Above
right of
India.
India.
Sure, it's gone now.
And
Why is it gone?
I
Wasn't.
don't know. It's the
I
fucking
still
map.
didn't even understand what you said. Like, on a purely auditory level, I didn't understand what you said.
Where did Nepal go?
Oh, you mean... Okay, I now understand what you say on a purely auditory level, but not on a content level. But
That's because you're not watching the stream. Don't expect to know what's going on if you're not watching the streams, Kiko.
I am walking with my phone while
Cripes
roll
on
four.
different servers.
I'm not saying you should be watching the stream. I'm not saying you should be watching the stream. I'm just saying if you aren't watching the stream, don't be surprised if something that doesn't make any sense is said.
I'm not surprised. I'm just not asking for it. I am insinuating that I would appreciate an explanation.
The current
you
map
guys
is
know what
Eurasia and Nepal is gone on it.
You guys know what I like to do? I like to have some
Cake
faith
farts.
in potatoes.
What?
You like to have some faith in what?
I like to have some faith in potatoes, you know? And
Yeah.
it always gives a good... It's always
That sounds like canned potatoes. I'm very sure that is not what you said, but that is what it sounded like on my end.
They did say faith in potatoes. Like
Faith in potatoes. Okay, that
did,
makes
in fact, think.
that made a lot more sense than fake man potatoes.
You know, you just have to have some faith in potatoes. AKA...
Moldavia, where'd you go?
Some
Oh,
fancy
my mom.
potatoes.
Or Moldova, not
My
Moldova.
mom's calling me. Hold on.
Sorry, Moldova.
I don't know where any of these fucking places are that you're
I
talking
am
about.
going because my mother made cake and it is ready to be tasted. So see ya.
Later. Let's.
Seriously, guys,
Well,
she's
let's
always
go
running
on.
off for like cake or pizza or chocolates or something.
Is that no. Hold on. This is a very compressed and stretched out view of Eurasia, so some things I'm probably gonna get wrong.
Yes.
The Balkans are still kind of there. Okay, so I fucked up. That watermark is supposed to be there. That's supposed to be the Black Sea, or the Caspian Sea. The Black Sea's there too. Got it.
It's not.
Something's
Eventually,
growing in the Balkans. I should let you know.
What?
Something weird was happening in the Balkans.
I don't know what the Balkans are. So,
Europe, Eastern Europe.
okay.
Well, southern.
I
Europe,
mean,
most-
I'm.
No,
I'm-
southern.
Fucking Europe! Do you honestly expect me to pay attention to history in geography?
Something happened to a part of Europe.
Well, everything always happens to a quarter Europe.
True. There is now apparently some kind of toxic waste in an Eastern German river. Nobody's entirely sure
was-
what comes
That
from.
sounds
Reading about
normal.
that. No, I was reading about that a few days ago.
No,
It was
it's very
Polish
much.
Polish authorities were like, we don't know how all these fish died, and people were like, you have to know. It was you were watching it, and they were like, no.
No, Francis. They say, you say, you are Poland. We have to know. That's what it is. Sorry, carry on.
We're Poland. We have to know.
We have
Man,
to
you
know.
too much shit. This guy's
Dad, are you sure I can't ban you from your own stream?
No, that was a Nardwar reference. You fuck off.
Nardwar.
Nardwar.
Kind of funny to
UN,
watch
how do you know
play
this
out
shit?
on the- It was kind of funny to watch it play out on the Nina app where it started with like, we have found some dead fish. Please do not eat fish from these rivers and like bathe
Someone's
in the
gonna
water
do it,
or
and
whatever.
someone's gonna be like, but no one said not to eat the fish.
I mean, I'm sure someone was like that, but it would have been like 1 or 2 people, and they probably died from eating the fish, so nobody really cared. They didn't sound a movement and start a religion or something. If that is what you mean. And then like the Polish water police got involved, and like the border patrols got involved, and they've been patrolling up and down the river. And in the meantime, people were like, "Oh yeah, by the way, for the past 3 months or so, we've been catching literal hundreds of dead fish out of this river every day. Have you noticed the river is green, by the way?" It's not, I'm joking, but like, yeah, something like that. And it just went back and forth. And I've just been following it on the Nina app for like my job, because newspaper. And it was kind of amusing, like, yeah. And then such a surprising resolution. I mean, who would have guessed Right? Oh, actually, I have an incredibly random question. Those of you who are native English speakers, how do you pronounce the? I'm gonna post it in the channel to not give you any ideas. That specific light metal. How do you pronounce it?
I'm not saying it. I am not entering this
Look,
discussion.
I know that there are two different ways to say it, and it's just because it's,
Two
you
different
know,
spellings, Francis. It's two
Well,
different spellings.
There's-
Whenever
I
one
mean,
word is
yeah,
pronounced one way, the other word
You
is
spelled it
pronounced the other
wrong,
way, too.
Sakiko. You spelled it wrong.
did.
No,
It's-
Sakiko spelled it right.
it's
Sakiko
aluminum.
spelled it right.
Guys.
And he's wrong. It's
Guys, there is
aluminium.
no wrong
And
word
Ali's
or right
not
way to spell
doing
it.
a
If
bit
it is used predominantly by a group that understands what the idea of the word is. It's fine to be spelled either way. There may be some
it's not.
minor communication errors, but it really doesn't matter.
Well, my point is that
Now
hang on. My point is that for Sakiko to ask native, like not Native American, but Native American speakers of English how to say that word and then spell it the not American way is not going to give a consistent response.
I spelled it in the way
They
it
don't
is
have to
spelled in the
put something
dictionary.
like
I spelled it in the way it is spelled in the dictionary,
Which
and
one?
also did you
Which
just
dictionary?
The dictionary. The one, Francis.
There
The.
are two main
the
types.
O the
There's the Webster
the
and the
OED
Oxford. There are two
The
different
OED.
dictionaries.
the OED
Oh, the Oxford dictionary. We do not use it in the States, we use the Webster dictionary.
I'm pretty sure Webster actually spells it the same or has like both
It's
spellings.
changed. It's changed. It's fully different.
Merriam-Webster.com.
Since I
Nope,
want to hear
they
from
definitely still have that.
No, they don't. There's not a
I
second
literally
It's
just looked
one.
it up
I had
like
it I
2
had it
seconds
pulled
ago.
up.
Yeah.
A-L-U-M-I-N-U-M. There is no second
ALUMINIUM. That's what I'm saying. They have both spellings. They consider both correct. That is exactly what I'm saying.
It's not here.
Kiko.
It,
It's-
so I sent you a screenshot. I literally looked it up like 2 seconds ago. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm literally looking at it on my phone. It is definitely
Why are you
there.
telling me, an American, how English works?
Why are
I'm
we
not
arguing about language?
I was asking how you pronounce it.
And I'm telling you why and how we pronounce it.
You haven't told me how. You have given me
Aluminum. Aluminum.
Thank you. Someone
British
else?
people say British people
Without
tend
the
to
I,
say
it's pronounced
aluminium.
aluminum. There you go. That's the answer to the question. It's two different spellings, so you get two different pronunciations.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. I'm interested in specifically how people actually pronounce it. That's why I brought it up. I'm aware there are different pronunciations, or otherwise I wouldn't have brought it up.
It's not just pronunciation, it's spelling.
I
That's why
mean,
pronunciation differs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but in
would
this
argue
case,
that
spelling-
aluminium
in
is
this
not the
case,
same word as
spelling-
aluminum.
In
Yeah.
this case, the spelling difference exists because of the different pronunciations. It started out with it always being spelled with the 2 I's, and then
No.
through language, some
No.
people
It started out being spelled with the 1 I, which was a mistake. But then people started saying, right?
you know what?
I think it
This
depends
is a
on what you
language
consider
history
different.
thing. I'm just trying to talk about. I'm still trying to focus on the present.
Yeah, it's getting contentious. Let's pull it back.
I understand
sorry,
that,
I'm sorry.
I really don't understand why.
Sakiko, it's getting Sakiko. Sakiko, it's getting contentious. Let's pull it back.
I'm sorry, Sakiko. The answer, honestly, since there's a majority of Americans here, I would just say aluminum. To be honest, I'm sorry that it's become a big thing, but it's one of those words that people just like to argue about and things like that. And I'm sorry, just say aluminum. To be honest, unless you be more British.
Yeah, I didn't want to make it an argument. I was literally just interested whether it's consistent within America or whether there's differences or whether you pronounce it the same everywhere in the UK.
No one in America says aluminium. Yeah, that's like the answer is that no one in America says aluminium.
Yeah,
like unless they're really doing it on purpose to be like, well, actually, like, but no one actually says it that way.
It's like the people that are like, actually, the plural of cul-de-sac is cul-de-sac, and I'm like, we're not fucking French anymore, bitch.
Also,
it's
that'd be cul-de-sac, not.
It's also cul-de-sac. We're being full French.
So
again, the same thing stands. It has been integrated into the English language, therefore, it will now use English pluralization.
Right. Like, we're gonna get a euro, even though euros is singular. You know, that got anglicized too.
But
nobody
what,
says,
but
oh,
what
I'm gonna
about...
get some euroses. No, you just get a euro or some euros.
But how about cups full?
I don't know what that is.
What?
Like cupfuls and cups full, yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Sometimes everyone like collectively agrees on something that's actually incorrect. That is how the English language happened.
I mean, I think that a similar thing could be said. I mean, I think a similar thing could be said for how people refer to like freeway numbers, because I know in many states it's just like, oh, take 405 to 215, but like in LA we say take the 405 to the 401. And so we put the there, even though
that is totally regional.
Yeah. So stuff like that is definitely more. And then I guess like soda.
Full is a noun within itself, a unit of measurement. It's not an adjective. Full, it's added onto it, but it's not like cup, full, two different words. They've just merged into one noun. A cup.
Yeah, and when the affix is later added on, then you don't usually pluralize the affix because derivational affixes are always added before inflectional affixes, and usually you would then have to add the S in the end, but nobody does, and it's just cups full because why the fuck not?
Well, we don't really have those. We have cases, but they aren't really like as well defined. It's more like feeling it out.
Yeah.
So
it's not so much a question of cases. It's just that like
inflection is not.
Hey,
inflectional affixes include stuff like plural or possessive or whatever. That's all inflectional. But no, what I actually meant was I was just making a joke because that was one favorite example of our morphology professor. Yeah, exactly because of that reason. Because, like, yeah, sometimes English do not English very well.
Yeah.
So back to my question that was in the treehouse earlier. But primarily Sakiko, would you mind looking over my chapter 3? Because I think it's a fucking mess, and I definitely need help.
I mean, I'm happy to look over it and give you feedback to the extent that I can, but obviously it's not like my personal area of expertise.
No, that's totally fine. I don't even want you to be like the expertise on it. It's more so just like I think that I don't think I am making sense in what I am saying. I don't think it is cohesive and consistent in what I am saying. And also,
so you basically want to look whether your argument flows logically from one point to the next.
Yes.
Yeah, I can start, no worries.
Awesome. You're a lifesaver. I'm sending this to you.
Cool. Okay, I'll set up on my laptop because that's just easier to do that.
You're a doll. I am now going.
That's what you call a European doll, by the way. A Euro doll.
Sam.
Yes? Questions, comments?
You've lost privileges.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, you have. I don't know what to, but you've lost them.
I'm not standing, is what I am.
Oh, wearing the glasses has been helping me look at screens longer, but also taking them off gives me a headache.
Okay, so one thing from scrolling through, or maybe two things, that is, like, completely...
Might feedback be I don't mind if it's given on the stream, but might it be more useful if you like type it out?
I will for the actual content stuff. This is just something I saw
Oh,
while
okay.
scrolling through. Your diagrams are in very similar colors, like orange, brown, pink are all very similar. It looks very nice, but it's often considered good practice in academia to use high contrast, very different colors for people who are colorblind. I'm assuming it's not an issue in your case because you don't want this published in an actual paper, you're just turning it in as a dissertation. But just in general, it's considered usually, quote unquote, the done thing to use high contrasting colors. That's like.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know
Like,
that.
there's nothing wrong with what you've done. Like, they look nice, and it is easy enough to tell them apart. Just probably not if you're colorblind. Like, that is literally it.
Echo, stop.
What was that?
Echo, stop.
Oh, what's your echo?
Your at-home Echo device can help you set timers and also annoy the hell out of you when you forget that you set them. If you would like to hear more information regarding your Echo device and how you can set it up to annoy the hell out of you, I don't care. I don't know who you should call.
Goats Butzers.
Did you say like Ghostbusters?
I said goat. I don't remember what I said, but it was some sort of a spoonerism. Goats Butzers. That's what I said. Yes.
Ghost spurts. Did I ever tell you guys what my school mascot was?
No.
The Holy Spirit.
Ah! No! What? That's amazing! No! Come on! What? That's amazing!
You're lying.
I'm not.
I could kick all the other mascots' asses with the power of faith.
How can there only be one Holy Spirit? Were there other schools?
That's the whole point of the Holy Spirit, is that there's lots of them! My mascot is God!
It's like, hey, we're the fucking,
That's not the point of a mascot!
It's like, hey, we're the Finley capitalism. Like, you can't do that. You can't just fucking make a concept your goddamn mascot.
You know, it's like when, you know, when Banana Republics are like, you know, this is the democratic, you know, socialist republic, and it's actually just a fucking, you know, dictatorship or whatever. You know, yeah.
See, the reason I brought this up is because I just remembered, something, and I needed to share it because it is one of my favorite things that I've ever seen anyway. So, our mascot is, like, the Holy Spirit, so we're like the spirits, right?
Yeah.
Leave it at that.
Do you have school spirit? Do they make puns about school spirit?
No, we didn't have an actual mascot. It was just
Maybe that's why they chose such a shit one, that they didn't have to use it for anything. They didn't understand the concept of a mascot, so they're like, "Oh, I like God. Let's make one of God's tripartite forms our mascot."
The Holy Spirit.
The Holy Spirit. That's so. That's so good. Like, that's so good.
And I
It's worse than.
Yes, you can.
It's worse. No, it's worse.
At least he's finishing.
Hold on, it's worse than having a team be the Tigers, because everyone's the fucking Tigers.
It is the Tigers, but no. Alicia, what's up?
Okay, so we were spirits, right? So like our cheerleaders would say, "Go spirits," you know?
Yeah.
And so each cheerleader had to like decorate like a box and a blowhorn thing every year, right? I helped my friend decorate hers. I did it for her. It was amazing. It was the best thing ever, and would have been even great. Would have even been better if she could use it if she wasn't fucking hate crimed and shoved into lockers and basically bullied off of the cheerleading tree. But I digress. So junior year, we are sitting in religion class, and out of the corner of my eye, I see like sometimes the students would just leave stuff in teachers' classrooms that they liked because it wouldn't fit in their like lockers, right? So there's this giant bullhorn in the corner, and it says.
Giant what?
There's a giant bullhorn, like the loud speakerphone thing, like the ones that cheerleaders use. It was personally decorated. Again, remember that we were the spirits.
Oh!
She wrote spurts.
Forgot the second eye, huh? Man,
It said go spurts. So for the next 2 years, anytime we were in cross country, we would say, "Yeah, go spurts."
Did they graduate?
So that the reason I said that was because it I just remembered it, and I was like, if I start laughing at the word spurt, people are gonna think I'm fucking crazy. But yeah, we were our mascot was the Holy Spirit. I can still recite our school anthem thing.
Oh no! Now you have to.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you do as well.
I mean, we can also talk about the fact that they made us hold up I think it was 2 fingers, and then do this weird salute to where the banner was. I think.
Nothing says school spirit like saluting.
But the school's name, I'm gonna dox myself, I guess.
Hooray!
Well, this is on YouTube. Maybe don't say the school's name.
Oh, no one's gonna care.
I'm gonna type it out. No one's allowed to say it, especially you, Sam, because I know you're gonna read it and say it.
Okay. No, I'm probably not even gonna click on it.
That's the name of the school, so it was like da 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 Guardians of the leading us with rays of truth, more sure, give us strength and vision pure that we may track the pathway home. That word, that word.
I mean, we just stole the Ohio State's. We just stole Ohio State's theme song and made it our own. So we just took Ohio State's fight song and was like, yeah, this is North Baltimore. No, don't ask.
I mean, at my middle school, we were the Sacred Hearts of Jesus. That was
not gonna lie. It's so weird to me.
Sacred Hearts?
Yeah, no, that's definitely a phrase. That's definitely a phrase, Francis. Not a good phrase.
That schools in the US have animals or I guess Holy Spirits and are
the Sacred Hearts of Romaine.
Like that,
it's usually one of 2 things. It's usually it's an animal or very racist terms for people. That's all you get in the US. You don't get any other
and both of those are weird because in Germany you have this is the school name. Our students are not referred collectively by a noun. They are the students of school name. If the school
hey guys, look at this map in Creeper World.
Which is unusual that it is referred to as the school team in type of sport of school name.
I mean, I can tell you all of my school mascots. All of them have been weird except for one. From kindergarten, we didn't really have one. I guess at the most it would be the desert or some sisters. We didn't really compete. The other one.
In kindergarten.
Huh?
Who was a mascot in kindergarten.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
they'll have something to put on the wall or whatever. Yeah.
What a mascot, period. What the fuck are you saying? What
Don't
the
worry about it, Sakiko, because I also have. No,
You have
Sakiko.
mascot- You have clubs. So,
Sakiko, we have the same thing here in the UK, kind of, but not to the same extent, okay? Don't worry about it. Anyway,
Primary
second
schools
one.
don't have mascots. Secondary schools don't have mascots. That's not a thing.
My past 2 universities have had mascots.
Yeah, unis might. Very rarely, but they might. The majority of places do not.
Okay, I'm sorry, I made a generalization. I apologize. Anyway,
look, mascots.
That
are
might
fun.
be an English thing, but it's not a Scottish thing. Definitely, and nobody I've spoken to has ever mentioned it. Oh
Mascots
yeah,
are
my
fun, I
school
don't like-
mascot.
Well, because they would just all be they would always be a
Mine's
pack of wild bagpipes.
A pack of wild bagpipes.
That's a quote from something.
They're going across the field now. Oh, kick it back. Oh,
my
that
first
damn sight.
You
mascot.
told me for Harlem when you were talking.
The school
I-
after that, can I
Yeah,
finish?
with the Edinburgh bagpipers.
And I.
Yes, you sure can. Alicia can finish.
That accent again.
Okay, then we were coyotes because we were in the desert. You know, we were coyotes.
But
I
what
always
is
don't
weird
live in just the
as
desert.
part of Jesus? I mean, honestly, it's still
I'm
weird.
getting to the Jesus stuff. Coyotes, and then I went to religious private schools, and then we were the Sacred Hearts. Then I was the Spirits. And then I came to the UK. We became Cinnies, Cimmerians, and now I'm currently, I guess, a bulldog.
What is a Cimmerian?
Cimmerians, Cinnies.
Oh, Cimmerian.
Simmies.
No,
Simmies. Come
They're
on.
cinnamon. They're cinnamon.
Alright, look. I don't know what.
Look, we here on Sam Gabriel's streams like to have a good time as much as the next guy. But now we're gonna talk about something serious. That bullshit. Can't take it away, Francis.
Alicia, those mascots blow. They just blow. And
I
not
mean, there
like
was-
oh, that fucks. No, they just blow.
The Panthers was my high school mascot.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
okay, when I was in middle school, when
I
we were the
was-
Sacred Hearts, you want
I
to know
was
what
the-
our biggest rivals were?
I was a
It was-
tiger for all of my school career. I was always a tiger.
What were your biggest rivals?
That would have been
we
the
were-
Vampire and Black Knight.
What was
No,
your
me.
mascot?
Our biggest
were the-
rivals were from St. Mary, so their mascot was literally the Virgin Mary. So
Oh, fuck off. You can't do
No,
that.
Wait, what? Hang on. The Marys?
That has to be blasphemy.
The
That's
what?
That has to be blasphemy.
That is so fucking blasphemous. Holy shit.
listen, I don't know if it was that exactly. All I know is that they were just the kids from St.
That
Mary.
is so
okay?
ridiculous.
That's bullshit. What the fuck?
I mean, honestly, I can respect that more than most other US school baskets. At least that one is funny. Not intentionally, though, so admittedly, but like, at least that one is funny.
But yeah, that is my history with school mascot.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, here's the thing.
No,
I had.
no,
There was a
Virgin Mary,
school.
Sarah. Virgin Mary, didn't you listen properly?
There was a school in my district. I already said one district name. I won't say another. But another school in my district, because their name is a bit more special. There's another school in my district whose mascot was a rocket, and it was painted red. That's all I'm saying.
Lol.
You can guess what we called them all the goddamn time.
Earlier when you mentioned what your mascot was, Francis was screaming. Can you repeat that?
It was a tiger. That's it. Just the tigers.
No. That was good. I asked what Sam said was his school mascot.
Panthers. The Panthers.
Panthers.
I mean, it's still weird, but it is magnitude less weird than, like, the Holy Spirit and Virgin Mary. Like,
That's just not what a mascot is. Like, that's just
That's
not.
not a mascot.
That's not how mascots work.
That's the fucking identity crisis. I don't know.
Sorry, Sam, but I think it is how mascots work now. If a school has decided that it is that. I mean, I agree it's weird as fuck, but that's just the US.
I've never, like, the closest that I've seen for, most public schools is, like, the Vikings, but that's about it. Or the Oilers, which is a weird one, but...
I get it. I know where it comes from, yeah.
Yeah, the Oilers are in Texas and in Ohio.
Yeah.
Is like big oil.
There's oil, yeah, like, that's fine, like...
Or like the 49ers.
Okay, I might be wrong about the mascot for St. Mary's. I am looking at it.
There's no way it was the Marys.
No,
the Virgins! The Virgins! Just be the Virgins. Yes?
I told you it's the Virgin Sam. I mean, what else would it be?
Where did Alicia go?
I think probably dropped out. Might be internet.
Right. I've probably explained my year dedication before, but like I refer to it kind of like a primary school and like the junior school and senior school because there was two separate experiences in schools, even though it was like whatever. So like my primary school, for like a lot of the UK, there's a song where it's "We're the children of insert school name here. We take pride in the things we do, learning together and having fun. Who's very good day, everyone. Give it all you got, because you really got a lot. Give your heart, right? Like you learn this. I don't know why it sticks in your head, but it does. Probably because you're a kid. But like when there were two or more schools together, what you did was you yelled your school name really loudly. So it's like we are the children of like, but I cannot name any of them because it fucking docks the area where I grew up in. More specifically than just Edinburgh. So fuck it, I'll shove in the Ackies. Ackies is a private school, so they did not use this song, so it's totally fine. So say if I'd gone to Ackies and this was the song we would use, it would be like, we are the children of Ackies School. We take pride in the things we do, learning together and having fun. Who's very good to everyone. But when it came to we're the children of Ackies, we'd fucking yell at shit so fucking loud. And then go to a private school, and like the junior school, no school songs, no mascots, no nothing. The secondary school, it's a fucking school hymn.
Ali, I have to ask for clarification. Do you mean private school in the American sense or the British sense?
British.
Okay.
Like, this school costs like 13k a year. It's definitely British. Yeah. Like, 1 in 4 kids in Edinburgh attend a private school. There's, let's see, off the top of my head, there's Aki's, ESMS, and they're Wiltshire, which is technically like, fuck it, let's call those 2 schools there. You've got Fetty's, you've got George Watson's, you've got St George's, you've got George Harriet, you've got Markiston. Did I say Aki's? I've said Aki's. Have I said Watson? Yeah, so off the top of my head, that was 8 schools, right, in Edinburgh, and there were more. I just can't be fucked remembering them. That's just like the expensive ass private schools. Did I say Fetty's? Fuck Fetty's. Well, no on record. Fuck Fetty's.
Did you say fuck fatties?
Fuck Fetty's.
Oh, okay.
What? A fuck Fetty?
What I said was fuck this school, Fetty's. Only I don't
Fetty.
fucking pronounce. Yeah, fuck Fetty's. They're a private school in Edinburgh, and they weren't my private school in Edinburgh, and they were full of posh twats because they were a private school, but they were for like the really rich kids. Yeah. And I actually did speak to someone who went to Fetty's, and he agreed that it was a school for posh twats. So, you know. It's not like not like I'm horrifically biased against them or anything. But yeah, nah.
More drama.
see us getting information that mascots are a thing in the UK? Then
Harry Potter.
Their university.
I don't know.
Just their
not a thing.
university.
Yeah, no, not a thing with my like.
I mean, it is a thing at very posh English universities. That's about it. I'm pretty sure it's not a thing at schools or even most normal universities.
Yeah, but for America, every
And
school's got a
also-
mascot. Every
And
school.
also, it's in the UK. It's not for the entire university, but it's then for individual colleges at a university. Those usually have like a name or a mascot or whatever, and like friendly compete with each other, which is actually where the houses in Harry Potter come from. That is directly taken from the UK posh university system. But yeah.
Rich schools in the UK, well, at least in Scotland. Well, at least my school at least had houses, and there were in-school things where you would compete against the other houses. We didn't really care apart from when we were winning, but we never won. It was always that fucking purple house. Yeah, we were named after different parts of Scotland, so like, which is pretty cool because it meant, because I'd be like, oh, what's this place? Oh, it's a place in Scotland. What's this one? Also a place in Scotland. It's this thing and another place in Scotland. But yeah, so there was this kind of, was it the house challenge? I can't remember what the fuck it was called, but it was this. It was like various events. It'd be like, there was a fire one. There was a rock one, I want to say. There was a shooting one because we had a cadet force. There was all sorts. It was great. Thank fuck. Okay, my friend's cat would walk about and she couldn't find him for a while, but he has been located.
What?
Hello. Sorry,
Hello.
my mother called me.
Ah,
Alright.
right.
Don't worry about it.
I mean, I do worry because she always thinks that I over-exaggerate everything, but... What can you do?
Right? I don't know.
Anyway,
That would be the spirit way.
still haven't figured out what
Okay.
the,
Would it not? Carry on, Elise.
Well, I'm not acknowledging Sam because I didn't hear what they said, and I'm too focused on this. I do not know who the mascot is yet, and I'm still looking.
They've gotta have.
I mean, my previous school that was the St. Mary's was Simmy's. It wasn't our mascot, but it's what we called ourselves.
The what? The Simmy's?
Simmy's. Sumerians.
Sorry, but all I can think about with the context that you've given me for your school is the sinners, and then make it cute. The Simmy's!
M with a m.
Yeah, I'm aware, but that is not what my brain has decided they are now. They are now the Simmy's, which is a cute form of the sinners. Because obviously they work together.
Thanks,
The caffeine
Akiko.
withdrawal headache is back after. This is sucks. But yeah, no. Pro tip: don't just randomly decide to quit caffeine cold turkey in the middle of the weekday. You will regret it. And as soon as you have access to coffee, revert.
Why are you quitting cold turkey?
I forgot my coffee. Okay, that's like my coffee was buried at the bottom of my bag and I couldn't be fucked. And then I realized I made it to like 20 to 12, which is the longest I've been in a couple of weeks without caffeine. So I was like, fuck it, let's see how far I can go. And the answer is from like 7. Fuck it, let's say I woke up at 7 and then I had coffee at 8:30 in the evening. So like 13
So
and
about
a
12
half hours? Yeah, 13 hours or so. That wasn't fun. I had the migraine.
Unless St. Mary's was Saints. Maybe they were the Saints.
That still sounds...
No, Saints
You
is
know-
is totally a mascot.
Yeah. I don't know what I'd be, but it sounds
Okay,
like.
but how is... Hello?
Why is there a sad
How is-
chihuahua?
How is the Mary's blasphemous?
Because Mary is one saint, and like the
She's
best
not a
one.
saint.
But what's
She's
making...
not a saint.
Right, but she's a specific person rather.
What is making it
She is the mother of God, so she is not a saint.
But what's making it blasphemous is not the fact that she's called Mary. What's making it blasphemous is that you are basically putting yourself up to her status
The content,
by claiming you are a Mary.
The connotation's different, Skiko. That's not what's making it blasphemous. Trust me.
Oh, the sad chihuahua's gone.
The connotation is definitely different.
I still don't see how saying you're a literal saint is not the
But you're not saying you're a literal saint. It's a mascot thing. Don't worry about it. I promise you, it makes sense.
The Mary thing is a little different. That's...
No, Sam, it doesn't make sense, but I'm used to the US not making
No,
sense, so
it makes sense. It's our rules. We made them.
Go Spurs. You know, I don't feel bad about making fun of that girl's thing to her face. Because she was one of the people who bullied my friend off of the team because she was gay. So I don't feel bad.
You
And I
shouldn't
would
feel
do it
bad.
again. Also, is it weird that my high school basically like had like 3 pageant queens for my area?
Yes, that is very odd. Yes.
I mean, it's already weird that the US does pageant queens at all, but having 3 is definitely weird even for US, yes.
I mean,
That
my
is
we have a lot of not nostalgia. What am I thinking of?
Racism.
okay,
No,
actually,
like
I should be more specific.
with
but not
monarchy.
the
Americans
should be
love
more
monarchy despite never being.
I should be more specific. My friend was a pageant queen, but then the other pageant queen started a rumor that she was selling drugs because she was the pageant queen for Little Rock, which was like one of the ghettoest areas that we had where I lived. So basically, and then they also
So
didn't
there
like
is
her because she was gay. So no, she was white. They just didn't like her. So she basically gave up her crown because of the harassment that her and her mom were getting for just anything, because pageant moms are fucking terrible. And then we only had 2, but it's still weird that we had 2, right?
Yes, to have 2 is still weird. Hold on, this is for your Catholic school, right?
Can I ask what exactly
Catholic
the
in
idea
quotation marks.
behind
That
pageant
makes
is?
total
Is
sense
it like
then.
is it like the same kind of pageant
No
that
one
you
was
have
Catholic
on national
except for
TV, or is it a different thing when it happens at schools?
I'm gonna clarify one thing, but I want you to repeat what you said after I say this. So when I say Catholic, it was in person. Maybe 10% of the whole school was actually Catholic. The rest of them were some other kind of Christian denomination, primarily Lutheran. But yeah, that was the school. They weren't actually Catholic. Takiko, what was your question? Takiko, what was your question?
When you say school pageants, is that like the same kind of pageant that you have on a national level, or is it a different thing in schools?
They weren't school pageants. So each little county has a queen and a princess. The princess being like the junior ones, or I think it's junior Miss Queen. I don't know. And then you have one for the whole city. Then you have the county, and then you have like the southern part of the state. And then you have the whole state. And then you have the country, and then you have so on and so forth.
Mind
Pageant stuff is ridiculous.
How
every
do
school
they
is for
choose
schools that can afford it. By the way, a lot of
This
schools
wasn't
do
a
not for-
school thing. This was independent of the schools. This was just the community.
So it's a bit like Carnival Prince and Carnival Princess, only
No.
not for Carnival, but they take it serious.
No, because this was set, well, kind of, because it was set up by the community. It was nothing to do with any of the schools.
Yeah, that is
But
what
the
Carnival Prince and Princess are as well. That doesn't have anything to do with school. It's just in the season of Carnival, every Carnival association or club or whatever, and yes, these are actual official associations by law. Like, I think we have about 200 of them in Northern Australia.
You
Will have their own like they have a king and a queen, and then they have a prince and a princess and a joker and whatever, and they like put on
A Joker, that's awesome.
Yeah, not that kind of joker, I'm afraid. More the one that joker drew inspiration from. And they just kind of put on events for families and like kids and shit, or like parades sometimes, and like every one of those does that.
So, it's only queens or Little Miss. It's only that. It's only for girls. It is a competition. You don't get appointed. It's a competition.
Time. Okay, it's also not a competition over here. Okay, how do you?
And it's year round. You don't just get it for the season. You are a queen until the next competition, and if you lose, then you surrender your crown to the next person.
What exactly is the competition? What does that entail?
Being pretty and normal.
So it's pretty much a normal pageant.
No, I think we're gonna have to like show you an actual competition to explain it, because
There's a movie called Little Miss Sunshine.
It's bad and weird.
Yeah.
Okay, so with the carnival stuff, you are chosen basically by election
Not a
within your
carnival.
carnival association.
Sorry, I thought you meant here.
Pretty much, you okay?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. Pretty much anyone can get that. It changes once per season. Officially, of course, you stay king, queen, prince, whatever, until the next season, so 1 year. If there are any official occasions in the meantime, then that is still your position. But you don't usually do anything outside of the season simply because the carnival associations don't usually do anything outside carnival season in general. And it's a purely honorary and like joking position. Like everything about carnival is basically jokes. Like that is the entire point of carnival. Like it's all jokes. There are so many carnival events where you basically just have shows where comedians put on their programs and shit like that, and the whole princess thingy comes from making fun of the elites. And at the time when carnival was invented, the German version, like kings and queens were still a thing, and basically the job of the carnival's prince and princess and king and queen was to make fun of those by basically being a humorous version of them, and yeah, like that kind of thing. It's not like it's a competition or anything, you're basically elected that. Like the king and queen are usually just the two members of the association that are the oldest members. It's also come to the point where some will just have two queens or two kings or whatever. The oldest members are both men or both women or whatever. Like,
But it's just for fun. The underpinning is just for fun. These are not fun.
Why would anyone participate in it if it isn't fun?
I'm gonna send you a clip from Toddlers and Tiaras.
Cash and bragging rights and all that shit.
If there's one thing you gotta learn about America, Sakako, is that we will do inane bullshit just for some ephemera of status.
Also, Sakiko, that is a clip from a show that ran for so fucking long, which is just about the pageant industry and culture in America.
Excuse me, that on the left looks like a puppet, like a baby puppet, and that on the right looks like it's like 5 years old. How are those?
That's called Toddlers and Tiaras.
Toddlers and Tiaras.
You can start as a toddler.
Yes, and it is indeed horrifically abusive. Horrifically abusive.
Fun.
It's
oh yes.
well known, and people do not stop them.
Yep.
That is where Honey Boo Boo came in.
Yep.
It became a whole thing. And if you don't know about that, thank God we're not going to explain it to you.
I don't want to know more.
Would you like to know more?
But part of you does want to know more.
Yes, but I'm not going to indulge it. I've already indulged the bad idea side of me today.
Enlist today. Become a citizen. Would you like to know more?
Become a citizen. I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
Look, I decided to.
The mobile infantry made me the man I am today.
I went without caffeine for like 13 hours today on purpose, so like, no. I've already tortured myself.
Did you know that you can start participating? Just get pregnant, and then once your child is born, start entering them in.
God spelled backwards is God? That's right, Stacy.
Did you know that you can stop participating in pageants and have a weird
and also the mom doesn't say that the dog says it.
And have like school sport be more important than actual academic learning and shit by just moving out of the US.
Sakiko, they get put into the yearbook. Even though these have nothing to do with the school system, they still get put in the yearbook and recognized in yearbooks.
Hey, Takiko, regarding that question, are there yearbooks like in the way that American yearbooks work?
Yes and no. Like they're becoming like the American style yearbooks are becoming more common and like more let's put it like this. In Germany usually something like that only exists at Gymnasium, which is like the highest of 3 types of secondary education. It's complicated. It only exists in one of the 3 types of education that kids usually attend, and there usually exists as what is called Abi-Zeitung, literally Abi newspaper, which is essentially like many schools used to have a newspaper, and when one year graduated, made their abitur. Abitur is like kind of school graduation thingy. Anyway, when they did that, there would be a special edition of the school newspaper, and that would have like pages dedicated that everybody would have a picture, like a short text written about them by a friend or whatever, and then maybe some fun anecdotes. And it developed to the point where pretty much every year did that, even if the school didn't have a school newspaper, and it just became kind of the done thing. So it is similar to a yearbook, like you have stories about the year in general, you have a few pictures from events when there were some, you have pictures of the individual people with like a short text next to them by a friend written about them. You also sometimes have voting, like most likely to become whatever, a doctor, most likely to end up in jail, whatever it is, rare, but it sometimes happens. But what it comes down to is it isn't like in the US, if you have a yearbook that is a very specific thing that is basically the same at every school and in every year, and you're like, you know what a yearbook contains. And the Abi-Zeitung in Germany is just different from school to school and from year to year, because every year of students that take the Abiturprüfung decide what they want in their Abi-Zeitung themselves, and they also make it themselves and have it printed themselves and everything, so it changes every year.
Those
also
made-up words are so
To
cool.
summarize, no.
To summarize, it is becoming more common because more and more students decide that that is what they want to do for Abi-Zeitung. They want to make a US-style yearbook, so that is what they do. But it is not like the default, quote-unquote.
Okay. Thank you. So American yearbooks, it's a big thing. It's always a big thing. Even though it doesn't mean anything, it's a big thing when you're a teen. Because there's not really any other way you can make your mark on the world, and we just put a lot of importance on it for some goddamn reason.
We do?
I did. My school did. Yearbook was like the thing.
Fuck, when did I graduate school?
Yeah.
The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind.
Hello.
What?
Hello.
That's hard, so I want to scoot back a couple
Name is
of
Elder.
months. Please do not. Where is it? I'm trying to find so my school kind of did a yearbook, but it was only at the end of 6th year. If was this the end of 6th? Yeah, this was the end of 6th year. So the picture should be.
Hey, does anyone want to watch Toddlers and Tiaras? I need something to watch that won't brain thing.
To be perfectly honest, no.
It sounds really depressing, Alicia.
Yeah, like I'm not
idea what that is.
something with you, but not that.
Alicia, I like watching things with you, but like, I'm not going to enjoy it.
That sounds like the worst time ever.
There's no bone in my body that says this is a good idea. So
I mean, there's also the Kardashians.
Like,
Again.
Alicia, don't take this personally. It is not like it's wrong for you to enjoy it, but I am very sure that I would rather just sit here and literally watch the spider that is currently coming down my wall make its new net than watch Toddlers and Tiaras.
It's
So,
itsy bitsy.
I'm happy to watch other things with you, pretty much
So,
any.
keeping up with the Kardashians.
I mean, frankly, even that, yeah. I'm not a huge fan of the idea, but if it has to be one of the two, then I'll definitely watch the Kardashians, yeah.
What
Fun
is
fact.
this thing that is so horribly depressing?
Towers and Tiaras.
Listen, reality TV shows are the only way that I can turn my brain off and not actually absorb any useful information. Because there is no information to absorb.
But it just makes me depressed.
You don't like seeing the
No,
Kardashians get thrown everywhere?
Like, I don't know what this is. Like, I'm hearing
Toddlers and
words.
Tiaras.
Okay, you've given me a title. What does that mean?
Child pageant things. Yes.
5-year-olds being treated as puppets and like dressed up like puppets in order to amuse adults and then get trauma for life.
Yeah. Seasuck already knows it.
Oh,
We only
child
just
actors.
introduced concept a few minutes ago.
So
No,
I found my yearbook profile, which we did.
see, no, it's
at the
not
end
like
of next
child
year.
actors because child
And
actors still get money.
natural
From,
habitat in a computer room, clutching a mug of coffee.
see, it's not like child actors because child actors get money from it, and they also have the possibility of it benefiting them or them getting freebies later
And
on in life.
they have protections from unions. Not a lot, but some. The
Pageant children don't get anything.
Oh,
Except
and
children, which
with-
is not
and with
super
child
creepy
stars.
at all. Like,
with
not a
child
super
stars,
weird thing at all. Why is that a thing?
the
Like,
filming stops when they're off set with a child star, right? But pageantry never stops.
Mm-hmm.
Your whole life becomes the pageantry, and when you age out of it, and if you don't go on to the next level, your whole life, which has been directed by people around you who want to go into pageants, is just over, or
Oh.
it's seen as over by people.
but
Crazy.
Takiko,
Mhm.
sorry, Francis. To answer your question about what is the competition, so there is an interview one. There is just the initial like, hey, look at me, look how pretty and nice I look, and then there's the quote unquote talent portion, and then there's also like a questionnaire kind of thing. Where it's
So it's
like,
basically like the Nightmare Times episode Honey Queen, but worse. Somehow it's worse. I don't know how they managed to make it worse, but they made
no,
it
I know
worse.
what you're talking about now. I know exactly what you're talking about now. It's the weird freaking. Isn't that a big thing in the South or something?
Oh,
mhm.
it's fucking enormous in the South.
Basically, I was talking about how my school had 3 queens, and people were like, "That's not normal." I'm like, "Yeah."
I mean, it's not normal to have a. Sorry, from my perspective of living in the Midwest, it's not that normal to have counties participate in pageants in the first place.
Hold
That's
on,
just
hold
not a
on,
thing.
hold on.
Then again, I live in a very rural part that it just is not interested in those kind of things. We're interested in like county fairs or like tractor.
West North Central or East North Central? This
I don't-
is very important.
Great Lakes, Great Lakes Midwest.
I'm sorry.
Not the Midwest. East North Central.
Great Lakes Midwest. That's all you get.
That's all I needed to know. That it was the wrong one.
What?
To call it the Midwest because it's not in the middle. That one's farther east.
No,
Shut up.
the Great Lakes are
Okay.
part of the Midwest.
You're so fucking interesting.
What? Me?
Not you.
I'm not interesting.
No, not
No.
you.
That didn't work.
Being a dick to you.
We love you,
Okay.
Francis.
Not to Francis. I was being a dick to Ballistic.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, you're being a dick to Ballistic because
Yeah.
That's
It's
fine.
ballistic.
That's
That's kind of
okay.
sounds ballistic.
Yeah.
Midwest. Well, they've been the Midwest for hundreds of years. Not hundreds, but 800 years.
I
America
could.
is not
Wait.
old.
America
I
is
will
very young.
pull up-
My school
If you don't
is
know what
hundreds
the
of years
North
old.
Central
My school is
region
older than your
is,
fucking country.
like, you gotta understand what is referred to as the Midwest. There were strategic regions of the United States, specifically the North Central region, which is sometimes referred to as the Midwest, has two
Okay.
distinct
That
regions.
doesn't reflect
West North Central, which is the Midwest, and East North Central, which people outside of the Midwest and people living in the East North Central region call the Midwest, really isn't.
Sorry, what are you lumping in the Great Lakes, by the way?
Oh,
Because it's Michigan?
just the water.
It's not part of
Just the water itself. If
Yeah,
if
just
you
the
if you
water.
if you live next to it, that's not what we're talking about.
Did anyone here watch the new Tom Scott video about how the channel that connects the Michigan River and the lakes is electrocuted in order to to stop the invasion of the Cripes.
Yeah.
Because I watched that a few hours ago and it was hilarious.
I try not to think about the United States as much as possible.
Well, what else are we gonna do? We introduce the species that we can't get rid of.
Listen, I have just finished
and
3 chapters writing about language in the United States and one specific tiny little area, and including its history.
What are we supposed to do? Not fuck up our environment? You're asking too much of us.
The reason why it's now endangering your Great Lakes
Why
is
can't salmon be an invasive species? I would really like an overpopulation of salmon.
to connect both for convenience. So now you have
the way that it is an invasive species, it means that it doesn't have its own ecological, like it doesn't have a place within that local ecosystem, and they either
it doesn't come from there originally. Like it was introduced there artificially, and it outcompetes everything in the US.
Like when somebody threw a fuck ton of rabbits at Australia, and it like continued to destroy everything there.
Oh, you know, the snake toads, what they actually did was they had a specific kind of, I don't know what insect, but they had some kind of insect in Australia that ate their cane and their sugar cane, and they decided, hey, we're gonna introduce a shitload of cane toads because those will get rid of the problem, right? Unfortunately, the cane toads decided to eat everything aside from the insects eating the cane, and now they have 2 invasive species. So, yeah, fun.
Yeah.
basically an
Well,
invasive species.
why can't salmon be an invasive
Humans
species?
introducing species to areas to try and fix problems has rarely gone well and has a lot more losses than wins.
I
Why
mean,
we keep trying to do it too. We keep
It
trying
can work.
it. We're like, well, it can work, but if it doesn't work, it's horrific.
Yeah, and you should try on a small scale. Like, you can introduce it to
You
like.
shouldn't try at all. You should just be like, gotta find another way.
No, I
Can
guess
we-
like in some occasions, because if the other way is we're just gonna use a poison and kill everything in a 200-mile radius. I get why they think that maybe introducing new things might be a better solution, but yeah, you should
Better
probably
a thing
put it in a
that we
small
can, like-
area first
Better
and make
something
sure
that we can, like, I don't know, monitor very closely, rather than just animals, which are entropanetic beings.
I mean,
You know?
to answer your question, it depends on the area in which the salmon is. So it can be an invasive species, and when it becomes a problem is when it does not have a natural predator within that area to
It starts to dominate an ecological niche that is not to the benefit of its ecosystem.
and
That's-
also when it starts to over consume and overpopulate because of the things in the area for it to actually consume. So like the fucking the fireflies that were like an invasive species all around the area. So like somewhere like I think in like the southern states, it was a problem because they were literally specifically eating a specific type of tree and completely killing it because they were overpopulating. So basically, you had to kill all of them because they became an invasive species and started just eating things. There's nothing for it to fight, and then it started eating and attacking species that didn't have a way to defend itself against it. And so it just kept multiplying and feeding on these things, therefore making more more things endangered because it was feasting on them. So like the Chinese grasshopper, the Chinese grasshopper in the United States, obviously it's the Chinese grasshopper, the green grasshopper. It's not native to the state at all, especially not in California. And they have been known specifically in California to attack and eat. So it is actually really, really bad to have them. And so if you do see a green grasshopper, you're advised to kill them because it literally will destroy the natural plants in that area and also kill off hummingbirds. But hummingbirds are already having a hard time trying to survive. Why the fuck do we gotta add a fucking animal into it? But it was sold specifically to people who garden because it was meant to like help the plants. But in doing that, it fucked up the ecosystem.
again, I gotta say, humans, we should stop doing this bullshit. We can't be trusted with it. Just too many people motivated by selfish goals to allow.
I did like how the US introduced an invasive species like by human-made decision, and then also provided a channel that connects the river where this species got free to the Great Lakes. I don't know, at risk of losing like 80% of the biodiversity because of that invasive species. Also through a channel that is man-made. They are now trying to solve the problem by electrocuting the fucking channel, and I'm not fucking joking, that's literally what they do. Like, why?
Every other attempt to get them out has not worked, and we're like, fuck, we gotta electrocute the water. And so that's what we're doing now, because we don't know what else to do. We're like, fuck. We tried it the old-fashioned way, but you know what? It ain't working.
I mean, I think it's the right time to bring up my favorite person from history. This one motherfucker.
Frida Kahlo?
No, I would never call Frida Kahlo a motherfucker. Even though she did fuck a lot of people.
Even though
you know what? Good for her. Frida Kahlo, sex symbol. Anyway, you know what? Good for her. Fucking anyone she wanted to, men or women. Great icon, bi icon. Anyway, there's this guy who was obsessed with Shakespeare. So when he moved to when he came to the United States, he decided to bring one of every kind of bird that Shakespeare mentioned in like his plays and writings, and just release them. And now it does thousands of dollars worth of crop damage every year in New York.
That sounds about right. Actually, I can say this here because it's Sav's stream. That sounds about right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, look, if there's a pretty bird somewhere in the world, you know we're gonna try and domesticate it.
Most of them aren't even pretty. Most of the birds that Shakespeare mentioned aren't even pretty. They're just birds.
But my
most of them are also indigenous to the UK and should not be introduced to the US.
But my Shakespeare bird.
No.
My Shakespeare bird. Let me release them into the wild.
Fuck Shakespeare and fuck your bird.
Fuck Shakespeare? Okay, I think
Please
that's
do not
a little
fuck
bit too
Shakespeare.
hard.
I hate Shakespeare with every fiber of my being. How do you not know?
Why do you hate Shakespeare?
What is giving you the impression that fucking someone means hating them? Is the first question here.
No! Alicia really did just say, I hate Shakespeare.
Yeah, I fucking hate Shakespeare. Number one, which isn't his own fault. I've had to read Hamlet 5 times through. No, 6 times through.
But Hamlet's good.
4 of those times.
Yeah, I mean, one, as Sam said, Hamlet is really good. Also, why did you have to read it 6 times?
I mean, too much of a good thing can't make it spoiled, so...
True.
Yeah, but still, why did you have to read it 6 times?
American education.
I will not finish.
No, I'm not asking why it came up in school 6 times. I'm asking why you had to read it 6 times. I would think after the 3rd time or so you should remember enough to just, do the work on it and write the essays or whatever without having to read it again. That is what I'm asking. Why do you have to read it 6 times?
I'm going to explain. I need no one to have any comments on my explanation for why I hate Shakespeare, okay? First off,
okay.
Hamlet, the reason it was read 6 times, twice was on my own. The other 4 times, because for some fucking reason, our teachers did not agree, and this wasn't in the same school, this was in 2 separate schools, because I did it in middle school and I also did it in high school, and then I also had to read it in university. But here's the thing, they didn't trust us to read it on our own. So, for the next couple of weeks, whenever we started the unit on Hamlet, because apparently that was the only fucking Shakespeare play that existed, I hated all the other ones too, but that's something I'll get into later. So everyone got assigned a part, and we would spend the next couple of weeks reading it together as a group. So I would be forced to sit down and listen to a whole bunch of 15 to 18-year-olds who didn't want to be there in class, sit down and be forced to read Shakespeare.
Wait, didn't you just say in college? How were they 15 in college?
No, I meant I had to read it again in college for classes, for tests and stuff. But the 4 times that I was forced to read it all the way through with the entire class was back in fucking high school and middle school. The only reason I reread it was because, I don't know, I think I wanted to torture myself.
So basically,
Anyway.
the school system just fucked you over.
Yes, and these were private schools that we paid more so that I would get a better education. Anyway, I had to read it that many times, which also meant that after we finished that, we would also watch so many different renditions of it.
Oh, but the Kenneth Branagh one is so good, though.
I cannot tell you how many times I've seen the same fucking scene with David Tennant, or not David Tennant, whoever plays for fucking Professor X, doing Hamlet.
Patrick Stewart!
Patrick Stewart.
I hate it. I've seen it.
You get Tennant and Patrick Stewart confused.
I got something to say after this, but continue
Why
your
is
story.
fucking British and the other is a fucking legend from Scotland? What the fuck? Wait, is Patrick Stewart British? It's whatever.
Ali, you be forced to sit through Hamilton perform.
Hamilton!
forcibly.
Hamilton! Hamilton!
I love Shakespeare's Hamilton. Also,
Alicia wants to kill us.
you know, when Ophelia gets into that rap break,
Can I finish?
Yes, you can.
That's rule number 1, which has nothing to do with Shakespeare. Second off,
Yeah, he's
I
a
didn't
bust.
like Hamlet. I didn't understand it. You know, the entire thing could have been solved if he just decided not to be a fucking idiot. And hey, maybe a whole bunch of people wouldn't have died. And I get it. It's supposed to be drama and stuff. But, you know, it's just fucking ridiculous. It's like, hey, just be a normal human being. No, I have to be a prissy little prince who doesn't know how to communicate. And I'm going to put it all on my friend who's like, hey, bitch, I don't think this makes sense. And it's like, shut up, Horatio. You don't know me. And it's like, well, I guess my friend's dead. And his fiance/girlfriend's dead. And her brother's dead. And her dad's dead. And then both of his uncle and his dad and her mom is dead. And now there's just me. And I'm stuck basically telling this entire story because I had nothing better to do with my life than watch my friend basically fuck over his own life. That's Hamlet. 2, I hate Much Ado About Nothing because that's another example of, hey, be an adult. Talk to someone. And I had this opinion when I was 14. Be a normal fucking human being and talk to someone. I didn't like King Lear. I thought that it was stupid because, again, you know, even though my dad is kind of out there, you know, a human being would be like, hey, my daughter doesn't want to basically fuck me. I'm gonna have a tantrum about this. I didn't get it.
Yeah. I mean, that was the thing with the King Lear. His daughter didn't want to basically fuck him. She wanted to get all kinky, but he was like, "No, I just want vanilla."
Sam.
Yes. Carry on, Alicia.
I asked for one thing. I asked you to be quiet and listen.
Okay, I will listen. I will
Do
listen.
that.
I will listen. I will listen.
The 4th thing, which again has nothing to do with Shakespeare, I don't enjoy any of his plays. I never enjoy things. No, I didn't enjoy The Lion King. No, I didn't enjoy anything else that was basically inspired. Didn't like Romeo and Juliet. Don't like anything that is based on that either. Despite not knowing if it was based on that, none of my things that I've enjoyed has ever been based on Shakespeare stuff. But regardless of that, the amount of shit that you would be given if you said, hey, I don't like Shakespeare, was fucking ridiculous in the United States because Shakespeare apparently could do no wrong in the United States of America. He was the end-all be-all, the grandfather of English literature, the best person ever in existence to ever breathe was Shakespeare.
So what I like about my university. We did have some Shakespeare, and like we did read some Shakespeare in school as well. But one thing is you were just kind of expected to complete your own reading. Like if you didn't, that was on you. You failed the exam, but nobody would force you to actually sit down and like read it out in class, because that is demonstrably not the best way to do it if you want people to learn. But also what my university does for people who study English, one of the modules is American Literary and Cultural Studies. That is 3 different seminars over 3 semesters. One is Introduction to American Literary and Cultural Studies. One is an Introduction to American Literary and Cultural History, and one is a prose seminar specifically on American literature. Like one specific part of it. In my specific case, I chose one on poetry, the poetics of plays with Anne Brechtford, and another one, forgot the name of the other one. At the end of those, you have to take those 3 things, like the 2 introductions and then 1 prose seminar of your choice. At the end of that, you take 1 exam for all 3 together. And for that exam, everyone takes their own individual exam. Like, of course, all the theory from the introductions can come up, and also any text that you read during the introductions, which is like, I think about 4,000 pages of writing. Anything you read there, and then in theory also everything you read in your prose seminar, although not usually when it's poetry, because nobody asks poetry questions in this exam, but anyway. And then also everyone has their individual reading list, and I mean really individual. What you have is, it's called a supplementary reading list, and you have a list of things that you need to have read, but they're defined like this. Like, first is colonial poetry by, and then a blank, or colonial prose by, and then a blank. And you can pick anyone who is in the Heath anthology and read, like you pick one author from the Heath anthology from the area of colonialism, and you pick any author you like, and you read either all of their poetry or all of their prose. You pick the author, you pick whether it's prose or poetry or whatever, and then you write down the name you chose in the specific field. Then you have Enlightenment poetry by blank, and Enlightenment political essays or letters by blank. So you pick one person from the Heath anthology, from the Enlightenment era, and read all of their poetry, and you pick one person from the Enlightenment era and read either all of their political essays or all their letters, and you put that in, and so on. And it goes on for every literary period. But you literally have your entire reading list independently compiled. You compile your reading list. Nobody else gets to tell you what you read or not. And then, in the exam, you can use anything you have used, including your individual reading list, to answer the exam. It has 4 questions. You have to answer 2 of the questions, but you choose which 2, and each of the exams is compiled individually. Like, I had a question on poetry of plays, specifically because of my prose seminar, and the prose seminar professor was like, oh yeah, sure, I'll provide a question for their exam. And they put one question for me, and that was put into my exam. Nobody else had that question. I didn't actually answer it because it would have been taken right, but nobody else had that question. I had that question, and I got to choose 2 of the 4 questions that I had to answer. And in that way, if I had an extreme antagony to, say, I don't know, Scott Fitzgerald, for example, I could have just not read anything by him. I could have just been like, nope, I'm not reading any Fitzgerald, and that would have been perfectly fine. I could have gone completely around any author I didn't like, and that was really helpful.
Takiko?
Yes?
This FYI, the Hamlet stuff, the exception of the 2 times in university, that was all back in America. Also, my degree for my undergrad was the Arts of English. The core modules, the core classes that I had to take being English literature classes. So I had to take the Shakespeare class, and I had to take a class on tragedy, in which they both decided, you know what? Instead of communicating, let's just give them Hamlet for both of these classes. Because why the fuck not?
Yeah, see, I don't hate that schools and classes introduce students to the classics, because a lot of the time they are classics because they're actually really good. What I think is an issue is that they do it too early and then too forcefully. Like, sitting down 6th graders, for example, and forcing them to read it out in class in a circle when they don't even understand the language or something that is just stupid and is not gonna make them appreciate it whatsoever. Should be way later and, like, with more freedom to actually choose when and in what is construed.
I just never have liked any of Shakespeare's stories. I always thought that it was stupid and that people could easily solve certain things. And I get that. That's part
By
of the
communication, plots that are made from contrived communication suck. Sorry.
That is most of his plays. The one play that I did like in my Shakespeare classes that we read Dr. Faustus, which was not done by Shakespeare, but they brought it in
Goethe!
talking about the English Renaissance in general. I love Dr. Faustus to an extent. I still thought, you know, hey, you're being dumb, but at least, you know, the play was self-aware and it was like, hey, this guy is fucking up his own life. Let's watch him as he spirals into madness. And I'm like, hell yeah. I love BoJack.
Yeah, let's look at Agony. You know, I
love BoJack Horseman. I love BoJack Horseman. I'll definitely watch.
I love Come and See. I get it. Well, I don't love it, but like I appreciate the filmmaking.
But
my relationship to Come and See is very hard to define because I don't love it.
Come and See is fucking wild.
It's not wild. It's just a lot.
I never liked any of Shakespeare's stuff, though. That's the thing. I never liked the stories. Even when things were based on those stories, I never liked those ones either. I didn't enjoy The Lion King. I don't enjoy Romeo and Juliet or anything that's based on Romeo and Juliet in some way, shape, or form. I don't enjoy the story.
Wait, you didn't like Romeo and Juliet? How could
fucking
you not?
that film with every single fiber of my being.
What?
I hate that film with every single fucking fiber of my being.
Romeo and Juliet, but it has Shakespeare as a statue in it. How could you hate
What
it?
is it? What is it?
It's exactly what it says on the tin. Romeo and Juliet.
It's about gnomes retelling Romeo and Juliet, but then they also have a car chase, but there aren't cars. They're fucking, what is it? Fucking lawnmowers.
Right. So, right, I posted a lost meme in the Cripes server, and now I think they want to kick me from my own server.
Don't worry, they can't actually. Like, they can kick you from the server, but not from the server itself.
Yeah, so they can't.
Yeah,
I've got no permissions to do anything. It's just very funny.
No, even if they didn't have permission, they couldn't do that because they're the server owner. It's literally impossible to kick the server owner. And I would know because one of my servers had to kick the server owner, and it was a fucking process that took like over a year and involved the actual Discord mods and like bullshit.
Oh, is that a process I know about? I think I know what you're talking about.
I think you know, yeah.
Yeah.
You should. Yeah, like.
Anyway.
I also thought that Macbeth could have been solved so fucking easily, and all it did was like, oh well,
I saw
a
a scene from Denzel Washington as Macbeth. I was like, this slaps. This fucking slaps. I want more of this. I gotta watch that film.
I hate Macbeth as well because it's like, oh,
I was born in but it's David Tennant and Catherine Tate, and it's so fucking good.
Work, though. That's just how they work. You can't be mad at the genre that Shakespeare is working with.
I can be. I can. Okay.
Elisa can be mad at what Elisa wants to be mad about.
No, they can't.
Enjoy it. You cannot be mad at me for not enjoying something, and I am entitled to not like it and say
No. That's fine, but don't hate Shakespeare specifically for playing to that genre. That's
well, I
what
have
their
to.
genre entails.
Motherfucker wrote it, and he is literally plagued my entire life. If I met him in person, if I could have a meal with any person, living or dead, it would be Shakespeare. And
So
it
you
would
can
just
poison him.
So you can choke him out.
Yeah.
You motherfucker! You ruined my life.
No, it would just be to be, listen, motherfucker, I know that you wrote to entertain the masses, and you also wrote for the bourgeoisie and, like, the upper class people, but fuck you, because you have ruined my entire life, and you're Hamlet, that has plagued me, and I'm pretty sure that on my deathbed, some way, somehow, Hamlet will be involved. there will be Hamlet somewhere because that thing is literally
Yeah.
gonna
To
haunt
be or
Because
not
I'm
to
going
be,
to be
that's
at your deathbed, and I'm gonna recite it. Just, you know.
I'm gonna put it in my will that you specifically are not allowed within 100 feet of me.
You're my favorite kind of person finds this.
While I
Plan
am
on
dying.
enacting your will before you die.
Yes.
You can have a living will, but I believe that only comes in force if you're incapacitated. So like, you better be really fucking out of it on your deathbed, Alicia,
Francis,
for this
I
to
will get
happen.
a restraining order so that you won't come near me when I'm dying. The only people near me when I'm dying will be my current pet, if I have a child, and my last living relatives. Those are the only people allowed to interact with me when I am dying.
That's totally fair. Real talk, totally fair. Don't want to interrupt your dying.
You're dying. Yeah,
Also,
you wouldn't want to intervene.
Hey, can
anyone?
Like, it's kind of
Hey,
like
hey, Alicia, do you want to get some drinks? No, sorry, I'm dying that day. Oh, that sucks. Well, maybe later? Yeah, maybe. Schedule open. We'll see. We'll see.
Hey, if people can schedule their C-sections, I can schedule my death.
Well, that's just suicide.
On the topic of scheduling death, I would like to point out that in school I came up with this. No, I probably didn't come up with it. I'm sure I read it somewhere. But like, when people would make jokes about like, oh, whose funeral is it? When you were wearing all black, I would just look around the room and go like, haven't decided yet. So yeah, that was a fun thing.
like all the time. So whenever I wore color, they were like, "Holy shit, Tally, are you okay? What's with the color?" And I'm like, I just felt like wearing color, you fuckers! Like, Jesus Christ.
I want
It's
to
going
wear
to
more
help.
mustard yellow. That's my goal in life. To wear more yellows and greens. I've recently found
Mustard
a love.
yellow is a really yucky color, though.
I found a love for very quote-unquote natural colors. Greens, browns,
What
yellows.
world is mustard yellow a natural color?
Flowers and grass. Hey.
Mustard's a natural thing.
Yeah, mustard itself is that.
Yes,
color.
I know it is because I've heard enough
And when I
about
say mustard
donut
yellow,
man
I mean like Dijon
mustard.
mustard, not toxic yellow mustard. Different
Listen,
mustard.
I had to watch the Donut Man explain Bible verses to me,
The
and I remember
Donut
the
Man!
song about the mustard seed. Okay, I
Hold
remember
on, I
that
have to
bit.
ask.
The
I have to ask,
Donut
Were
Man!
you a Bible man kid?
Bible Man! I never
Man.
actually had to watch it, but I totally fucking knew about it, yeah.
Bible man is
know
a
what
fucking
that
The
is.
fuck is that? No, wait.
Man,
First of all, do I want to
man,
know?
Bible man.
Bible Man was a superhero.
I'm gonna say no
I think
because I don't know what you're talking
when they
about.
misbehaved.
Bibble
I don't know
Man!
what you're talking about. We did have those weirdly animated Bible stories with Jesus, but it was all voiced by a guy, and I would always get upset because I'm like, this is only one person doing all the voices, and why does he keep sounding weird when he does the female voices? Why don't they get a female person to come in and do the female voices or do some more stuff? Why is it only one person? But I think I had a problem with like the animation in general growing up. But I had that, and then we had the Donut Man, which he would teach you, you know, like how God is 3 in 1, and you know, we have to fill the center of our hole with Jesus because we're all like donuts.
That's the
You know what?
worst
Don't laugh
fucking-
about it. I'm not
That's the
enjoying
worst
Donut
fucking
Man.
analogy I've ever.
The Donut Man. Yeah, you're not supposed to fill the hole of a donut. Like, donuts are fine as is.
A donut
Alicia-
hole.
Donut, or it's a filled donut, and a filled donut doesn't have a hole, and a ring donut
Yeah.
Well, then
doesn't
what's the
have
point
anything
of
in the
donut
center.
hole?
Alicia, quick question. How, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how critical do you want my response to your chapter to be? Because, like, I can give you, like, pretty much any level between those, depending on what you're looking for.
Whichever level you think would be able to help me get the highest grade possible. No pressure.
I mean, I'm not your professor, so it's really hard to make that call, you know?
Well, my professor didn't actually help me to begin with, so honestly, talking anything about how it flows, or if I should talk about some things more, or if I kind of anything that could help it be more excuse me, cohesive is very much appreciated because I feel like my brain's everywhere at the moment.
Okay. So, genuine question: would you like me to copy out passages and like comment on those, or would you prefer if I just copied the entire thing into a Word document and then use track changes to just change stuff?
You should have editor's privileges, so you should be able to actually highlight stuff in the document.
No, it says I can ask for editing perms, but I don't have them.
There's no way for you to like you can't like highlight something with your cursor and then press comment.
Nope. I can highlight stuff. Obviously, I can also highlight everything or copy everything, but I can't comment.
I'm gonna be right back.
Be right back then. See if we care.
Okay.
That's a dick.
I'm going to give you permissions really quick.
A wagon full of pancakes in the championship? I like to see him try.
Sam.
Yes?
No.
It was a Homestar Runner.
Interestingly, I can share this publicly or with individual people, but I can't actually edit it. Like, that is super weird.
Could you request editing privileges? Because I don't know how to give it to you quickly.
Sure. You should have an email that says something like blah.
Of course you should.
Okay, it should be available now. Does it work?
I'll quickly reload the page. Take a look. Yep, works now.
Yay!
Great, thanks.
Thank you for helping.
No worries.
You ever just play an MMO because your brain just doesn't do anything?
That's one of the main reasons to play an MMO, I feel like.
I'm not even paying attention to the story.
Oh yeah, that's not why you play an MMO, is the story.
Yeah.
What's the point?
The socialization and the fucking.
I don't play with anyone though.
Well then, it's just the relaxation of the grind.
Yeah, it's like currently I'm in Wire. I'm trying to unlock a playable race.
What MMO are you playing, Alicia?
Tower Fantasy.
Hell yeah.
Is it a tower? And do they have fantasies? Let's find out. Hollywood stars and actors. Do they know things? Do they know things? Let's ask them. Let's find out.
My sister got me into Wire, and then not long after she got me into Wire, she jumped ship to Final Fantasy 14. And ever since then, she's been trying to convince me to like switch over, and I'm like, nah, you missed your chance.
Yeah.
I have like 32 characters in Wires. So this shit ain't happening.
People keep saying that I should play Final Fantasy 14, and frankly, I don't want to even touch it with a 10-foot pole. Like, I'm not paying to play past a certain level. I'm not doing it.
I mean, isn't that the case for a lot of paid MMOs. Like you can get to a certain level and then that's it. Like I think with WoW you're capped at like you were capped to like level 20 or whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick to my free-to-play games. You're not gonna see me wasting no money on no MMO.
I bet the antagonist of everyone's story is Bex.
Hello.
You haven't showed up in my story enough yet to be an antagonist. Like, give yourself time, honestly.
Since when have you been Sam Francis?
True.
Since when have I been what?
Since when have you been Sam?
Fair enough.
Mind you, that's
am
important to our stories, and like, I don't know how I feel about that.
Then.
The antagonist of my story. That's the school.
I mean, the antagonist of my story is my mental health.
You gave me perms to actually change the text, not just like I have editing perms instead of commenting perms. I don't know how to describe this. Like when I make a change in the text, it automatically becomes
you have
permanent
editing
instead of-
perms. That's the way to describe it.
Okay, so are you sure that you do know how to edit in a Google Doc?
Yes.
Yes.
No, I mean, you know how to comment in a Google Doc?
Yes. I also do that several hours every week. Yeah.
Then how the fuck is it not?
What Sakiko is saying is that you gave Sakiko editing perms, not commenting perms.
Yeah.
Which is like Sakiko can make changes, but you're not going to see them.
Can you come back and look at the document for a second, Alicia?
It's so weird because it should give you both. Why is it not giving you both?
No, okay. Alicia has, if you have editing perms, you cannot,
It says that you're giving,
yeah,
stuff on it.
Can you see my can you see my cursor, Alicia?
Yeah, it says that you're commenting on things.
Yeah, okay, look what happens.
Right.
What did I just do?
You edited it?
Yeah, if you can edit it, you can't comment.
No,
But
you
it
can
says that-
comment. You can comment. The issue is that I can also edit. I cannot make suggestions. In order to make a suggestion, I need commenting perms, which allows me to use in the document, which will then show up as a suggestion for you instead of just changing it in the document
Right.
without giving you any notification of what I changed.
Oh, I don't know how to do that. Hold on. Commenter?
Probably.
Because there's only three. It's viewer, commenter, and editor.
Let me try that. Yep, that is the one.
Oh, okay.
You see what I did now, right? Like when I change something in the doc, it will show up for you as visible, and you can choose whether you want to accept the change or keep it as it was, but it won't just automatically change it without any option for you to track it.
Thank you, Sakiko.
No worries.
You're a doll.
A Euro doll.
Sam.
Yeah, it was funny, so I said it again.
You're not funny, Sam.
I'm real funny. I've made you laugh a bunch of times.
I miss.
Let's just ignore reality and say, no, you didn't.
Yeah, there you go.
Just gonna straight out twist reality. Oh shit.
Oh, Allie, have you caught up on Monster High yet?
No. I had shit signal at work for like most of the day.
Honestly, I would just rewatch stuff if Allie wanted to catch up.
Yeah, I mean, not 100% sure I'm down to watching the movie again, but like the just watch again, no issues.
The movie was funny as fuck. Like, I would totally watch the movie again. Okay, when we say the movie, we're talking about the one where they tried to do a racism allegory.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Okay.
I can't even understand Sam.
What you need to understand that there was the movie, capital T, the movie, you know?
Monster High did a racism.
That is a racism. They didn't do it very well.
What even was that voice?
I feel like a lot of movies, especially like the farther back you go, that just
This isn't. This
Yeah,
is. This
but-
isn't that. That's not what's going
This
on
isn't
here.
that. This is misguided children's television trying to be like.
This
"Oh,
isn't
here's
like
back
Birth
to
of a
the
Nation or
teen."
whatever. This is like.
Well, Birth of a Nation just right out the gate, like even for its time, was like. Ooh.
Well, yeah, it was explicitly racist, but yeah. It's also like one of those things where, like, in film school, you have to study it because it was so fucking groundbreaking. You know?
Like, kind of like the wide shots, but after that.
The
not
wide
really.
shots and the editing, for sure.
The
The
wide shots and editing, but past that.
well, yeah,
not a
but
whole
those are the
lot
things you
into it.
study it for.
But like, there are other better examples to study.
But if you're talking
Yes,
about it,
there
if you're
are.
talking about history, you can't ignore Birth of a Nation.
You can't ignore it, but you don't have to show it. You can be like, yeah, and then.
Yes, you have to show it. You can't show.
You don't have to show Birth of a Nation.
I have no
Not,
idea.
no,
what
not
you're
like the whole thing,
There
but
are
like
things about what
the
I'm
parts that
talking
are important. You know, like, oh, here's an example of
I
the
have
editing
none of that.
in Birth of a Nation. You know,
Illustrate like you can illustrate the influences without showing the influence itself.
yeah,
Yeah,
no,
but
not
the-
necessarily. It's super. If you say Birth of a Nation introduced this editing technique, you then show a clip from Birth of a Nation that did the editing technique. There's no good reason not to do that.
Hey guys,
What's up?
isn't there a line in Hamilton where they say the afterbirth of a nation? Can someone look that up for me?
I don't know why you said it in that tone.
Because you guys were arguing and I didn't know how to stop the argument.
Oh. It sounded very much like Dora the Grown-Up. Like, can anyone look that up for me? You know?
It sounds very exasperated, let's put it like that.
Also known as a teacher voice.
No.
I bet it for teachers enough in their life.
my skin is very angry.
Hey, does anyone know what the constellation Pegasus looks like?
It looks like
A horse?
What looks like a horse?
The constellation of Pegasus.
Pegasus.
Oh, sorry. To be more helpful, it looks like a horse with wings.
Yeah.
In what world does this look like a horse?
The world of constellaciones.
Also,
Sam's brain.
also to note, it's technically not a constellation. It's an asterism. Is what you're looking for.
It's an asterism, not a constellation.
Look, constellations are just a part of the sky.
I know constellations are like a sector of space. I know.
Yes.
Guys, I was just trying to do something in my anime video game, but I didn't know what the actual constellation itself, like the stars, looked like. And you guys saying, "Oh, it looks like a horse," doesn't help me.
We know that was like the joke of us saying that.
I had to connect dots. Yes, I did.
I tried to do. I've stopped playing Dragon Age Inquisition, by the way. It finally wore out its welcome. I'm like,
Oh God, I can't believe it took it that long though. Holy shit.
No, I stopped playing it months ago. I just now
I've got to agree
tell
with
you
him.
that I was like, I'm done with Dragon Age Inquisition. It's asking for a lot of time investment when I can't really feel the difference.
Yeah.
I've got to agree.
You know what I mean? Where it's like incremental grinding. It's like I don't.
Uh-huh.
It's not fun.
Who's agreeing with me? What's happening?
I was trying to agree with you. Other people were talking. So
Monster High, Monster High,
Wait,
MONSTER, Monsters,
about
Monsters,
what?
yes we are!
The
So once I
Pegasus
got
looks
where like
nothing like
every
a
like
winged
5
horse.
minutes or so I started like
Well, no, it doesn't.
buying to that song, but I'm like, you can't
What
get me
did
not to react to the intro to Monster High. Like, I'm sorry.
Also, Sam, that's only the beginning. You missed the A. Fingers got me falling apart. Oh, it took me
Yeah.
apart.
I don't have that memorized yet, though.
Hey, we're not that
Ooh. But what did I say that you agreed to?
That Pegasus looks nothing like a winged horse. It looks like a box with a bunch of things coming off of
It
it.
looks like a
Thank you.
jellyfish, to be honest.
I mean, honestly,
Well,
all
just
constellations
saying,
look like a
it looks like a
box with
horse
things
doesn't
coming off,
help you want to have
like
to draw it.
flowing.
I'm sorry. I didn't know what you were asking specifically. Like,
It
what does
does.
it literally
What does
look
the
like?
constellation Pegasus look like? Kind of
All
implies.
Looks like a
Like,
collection of
like
dots
boxes
in the
with
sky.
things coming off.
Also, Sakiko, circling back, way back to that river that you were talking about, was that the Odor River?
No.
So
Different
fucking
river.
rude.
Okay.
I would look it up, but then I would have to go to YouTube, and I'm currently on Google Docs. But yeah, it's the most recent Tom Scott video. It shouldn't be that difficult to find.
No, I'm talking about the river in Germany, which was,
Oh, yeah, that is the order.
okay.
There's rivers in Germany.
Yeah, there are rivers. Alicia,
Just ask that.
are you okay?
Are there fish in Mexico?
Alright.
Can you say
Francis.
pescado?
Wait, Alicia, do you get the context for that? Were you there for that?
Yeah, of course Alicia was there for that.
That's right. Sorry, I can't remember.
I literally said to you, can you say the word pescado?
Pescado? No, you said, do you no, you said, can you say pescado? Do you know what that means? And Francis was like, I know this, and I'm like, it means fish. Francis was like, no, it doesn't mean fish. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about, Gringo?